to the listeners, all four of you, I have come up with a certain game. We decided to switch things up. We can only talk about news so many times, so we decided to, have a little friendly competition. So I will explain the rules right now. I will be the mediator for this game, if you want to call it that. I will pit Jurg and Dame against each other. Now, what I will be doing is I will be saying the name of a player that is either a restricted free agent, an unrestricted free agent, or has been in the rumor mill of possibly getting traded in the offseason. For example, like a Porzingis or Ben Simmons. Now, each of them will tell me a team that they can see that player going to, and whoever says a team that I think fits best, they will get a point. Now, there's some players in here that are like obviously that you could just see it like returning to their team. If that's the case, each player will get 1 point. So, again, if I say Ben Simmons and then Jurg says no, if I say like let's bring up a player that isn't in the rumor mill. If Zion Williamson, for example, gets traded, is in the trade block, and Damian says Knicks, and then Jurg says Miami, I'm gonna give it to Dame because so that it makes more sense to me. So I hope the rules are clear, gentlemen. Do you understand the rules?
I'm allowed to say that he could return. That's
yeah. You could do that. You
Okay.
could do that. Now, if it's like a consensus, if it's just like it's obvious that they're probably gonna return, you could say that, and I'm give you guys both get a point. So we're good.
Yeah.
Dame.
Yep.
Okay.
Dame, we just got to alternate who picks the Knicks, and we'll both have like an even amount of points at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, I did give these guys the names of the players, so they should be ready by now. So, start off with the top of the list. The first player in this game that I'm mentioning, Ben Simmons. Dame, I'm going to start with you. Team.
This is best fit. I personally think the best fit for him is the Golden State Warriors.
But also, like, the team that you think is going to trade for him.
The Blazers, because I've been on Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons' package for so long.
All right, give me that. I don't want best fit. Just team that you think is going to be.
All right, I think it's the Portland Trail Blazers because at the end of the day, I think Damian Lillard is going to ask out. And I just don't think there's any team out there that is going to have a better package than the package the 76ers could give out with Ben Simmons, Tyrese Maxey, and a pick or two.
Okay. Jurg?
That's very fair. I don't think I'm going to win with this selection, honestly.
If you have the same team, that's fine. That's fine.
No, I don't, because I was looking at rosters earlier, and I'm like, where would I, like, just for fit, like, what would be a fun place to send Simmons to? Like that, I wanted to have some fun with Ben Simmons, because I'm like, he can't go anywhere, but he could go to a couple different places. And honestly, now, it would take several trades for this to happen, because there's one player on this team that would need to be moved for this to work, right? But we've been talking about the last few weeks, and I've also been talking about with like some of the guys that I do my NBA stuff with, like this could be the summer of the blow up / like nuclear trades happening, because I think right now the league is wide open. I think we all agree with that. And you need to make some moves here and there to try to change things. And I think there's a team that we all know should have gone deeper this season, potentially missed out on a chance to make a real run, that I think if they made two trades, if they ship one player out and bring Ben Simmons in, it could make something different for the team, and that would actually be the Utah Jazz. Now, the reason why I have the Jazz, like I said, you'd have to ship out Rudy Gobert. I have a team for the fun of it to send Rudy Gobert to. I know Dame will love this team, but I'm going to wait for that. The reason why I have Simmons going to Utah is because I think him being there as the 4, you can easily replace Gobert. I think perimeter defense is the key. It's why they lost to the Clippers. They lost to the Clippers because they played Gobert off the floor. Simmons helps there. He also helps alleviate the ball handling pressure. He'll essentially be either the point guard or the power forward in any lineup for Utah. And it gives Quinn Snyder, one of the best coaches in the league, by the way, some flexibility. He could run different lineups. He could start Clarkson some days, keep Clarkson on the bench in certain matchups. You get flexibility here. And in today's game, you need more flexibility on the floor. Ultimately, I don't have a fully detailed trade package, but you can sign and trade Mike Conley in that deal because Philly ultimately needs a point guard. For more salary, you could send Derek Favors over, who's a power forward who would fit the role left by Simmons because he was playing the 4 a lot this season. And Utah doesn't really trade a lot of their draft picks, if I'm not mistaken. They still have a couple future picks, so you could throw in some first rounders in this one as well. The value, that's a way to be seen, but considering everything else we've, like all these previous trades, like Holiday, Harden, like 3, 4 first rounders for Utah, if it guarantees you a chance to be a Final Four team, like they need to make that kind of move if you're this organization. And with the apparent rumor that Donovan Mitchell, like he may have signed his max, but Dwayne Wade is saying that he's concerned about him staying there long term, you need to make a move that would make him want to stay there. So I got Ben Simmons to Utah.
Okay. Well, Jurg, I didn't. So gave me an SAT essay about the move.
Just on that one, because I had to
all
explain
right.
the logic.
Okay, that's fine. That's a tough one. That was good. That was good. You almost swayed me, Jurg. I can't see it happening though. I'm gonna have to go with Dame by this one. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna have to go
we know.
with Dame's selection of Portland.
Like his is definitely more realistic. Like I wanted a little bit of fun with that one.
It's the cop out answer, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay. All right, we got 1-0 Dame. Now we move on over to our second player in the list, Kristaps Porzingis. Keep it short. We keep it sweet. Give me a log line of an answer. Jurg, let me know.
Latvian Basketball League. No. I think that should give me a point there. If I just had to pick a team, only because he was rumored to go to them, because Porzingis, like he could make an impact on this team in a different way if they make a different trade. I'll just go with Golden State. I feel like it's kind of a cop out because he's been mentioned there before.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just something there. Like Steph Curry to me has proved he could be the kind of guy to help players look better, and I think he could do that for Porzingis.
Okay, interesting. Dame.
I have OKC. The reason being is because I think OKC is obviously in a rebuild. And they're obviously looking to acquire a bunch of picks. And I think if the Mavs want to move Porzingis, they're gonna have to attach picks. I know how ironic that is because they had to trade away picks to go get him. But now I think he's at a point where they're gonna have to attach something to get rid of him. And OKC is obviously in search of young talent and clearly draft picks. So I think OKC is a good fit for him because of that. They're gonna buy low on a young player that has a bunch of potential, and they're gonna get another draft pick or two out of it for their big stash of draft picks that they already have.
That's fair.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Huh. Jurg, I'm sorry. I got to go with Dame on that one. That is a very good, interesting. And again, there's no bias because I hate Dame, but like, jeez, man. I didn't think about that. And they could get it done. They also have Kemba Walker. I didn't think about that. Yeah. And also, Jurg, I don't think they trade James Wiseman over Porzingis, to be honest.
I mean, I'm not saying Wiseman would be in that deal.
No, I know, but like it would have to be like someone like Wiseman. Because I don't think OKC's taking Wiggins. Yeah, I guess I gotta go with Dame on that one. Shit. All right, 2-0 Dame. This dude's on a hot streak. This is Jared. Come on, man. I'm pulling for you here. All right, next player we got CJ McCollum. Dame, what do you think?
I have the Pelicans for CJ McCollum. Clearly, they hear all this news and rumblings how Zion Williamson isn't happy, so they're gonna need to do something. And I just don't see what other kind of better player they could bring in. Like, I guess they could bring in Bradley Beal, but with Bradley Beal, the thing is, I think the Wizards are going to do right by him and send him to somewhere he wants to go. And I highly doubt he's going to want to go to New Orleans, where everybody goes to rot. So I obviously think that the Blazers are going to blow it up eventually. So I think the Pelicans are going to be a good fit because they do need that two guard that's going to space the floor for them and can create his own shot next to Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. I think Lonzo's leaving, Josh Hart is leaving, so they're going to need that ball handling guard that could not only create for himself, but create for others as well. Clearly, their defense isn't going to be as good with him, but like they're going to need that offensive spark with Josh Hart and Lonzo.
Okay. Jurg? Let me hear.
I have the Memphis Grizzlies because we've spoken that John Morant needs another scorer next to him. And the thing with Memphis is that there's only a finite number of players you can bring to. Let's be honest, Memphis is a nice place, but how many guys are going to stay there long term? CJ McCollum he's shown to be an all-star caliber player before. He's had all-star type seasons, but hasn't been named that. But he's a very good player. You put him with Ja, that's his backcourt mate for the future. It adds more scoring, which they need more scoring. Like just a guy, like Dame said with New Orleans, it's almost the same thing. You could create a shot for themselves. Dylan Brooks and Jaren Jackson will just be there for the defense. He could also create for them in lineups where like Ja has to be out. Valanciunas is there. Like, honestly, every other position has a set starter on that team except for the 2 guard spot. Like, Grayson Allen is decent, but do you want him as your starter, right? Like, Grayson Allen as your 5th starter, you're barely a playoff team. Grayson Allen coming off your bench, though, and you get a major upgrade at the 2 guard spot, then you're talking something different. And Memphis is a team, like I mentioned with Utah earlier, they don't really spend their first round draft picks a lot in terms of trades. And this could be a trade. I don't think you need to give up that much for CJ, because Dame is the true jewel in Portland's rebuild if they do it. Like, CJ, it all depends, but you don't have to give up so much for him. He's not a player you'll overpay for in a deal.
Damn, those are 2 very unique choices that I bangs both of them. I'm just trying to think, like, which team is gonna be inclined to make their move now. Isn't Dylan Brooks the 2? Does he play the 2?
No, he could also play the 3. It all depends on the lineup, but he could play
Right.
the 3. He's like 6'7".
All right,
I think.
all right. I don't know either, but I just don't know. I don't even know if the Grizzlies make moves like that. That's the thing. Jurg, I'm gonna give you a point, but I'm also gonna have to give Dame a point because I like both, but I do see the Pelicans being a little bit more urgent in terms of their moves. So I'm gonna give both of you a point since both of you gave really good answers on that one. Okay, all right, 3-1 right now. Okay, Jurg got on the board. That's good enough. All right, next player we got Miles Turner. Jurg, what do you think?
Boston Celtics, we've both been saying this for a while. I understand that they got Al Horford, but Al Horford is not the same player he was. He's older, he's slower. Like, he's more of a veteran liaison at this point that'll play sometimes. Like, you need to get athletic if you're Boston. You need to be athletic. Miles Turner is long, lengthy, athletic. You messed up last year not getting him. You need to make up for that. So I have them getting Miles Turner.
Okay, Dame.
Let me get the. I'm gonna go with the San Antonio Spurs. Clearly,
By the way, you guys could you could say that he stays on the Pacers as well.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't think
All
he's
right.
gonna stay on the Pacers.
Okay.
But I have the San Antonio Spurs. I think reason is they're like in the middle. They don't know if they're rebuilding or not. So bringing in a guy like Miles Turner, he's not old, he's young. Obviously, he's had his injury history, but he has potential there. So you bring in a Miles Turner if he plays above expectations. Like, you don't need to go in that full rebuild, or if he plays above expectations and you do want to go in that rebuild, you boost his trade value and you're gonna get a lot more for him than you would as he is right now. But if you are going to full rebuild before you do get him, like, it's just a nice young player to have to, like, stay kind of relevant and not look shitty with Greg Popovich at the helm.
All right. Well, Dame, it's a very interesting choice, and you know what? You get brownie points because you mentioned the Spurs, and the Spurs do need a center, but because Danny Ainge is gone, I do think Brad Stevens will try and pull this move, actually. So I'm gonna give the point to Jurg. It's the most likely scenario, I feel like. But Dame, shout out to you.
I'd give him the point too.
That's a good selection, though. Like, San Antonio's a good. I think they're a sneaky team. They're gonna make a move, Dame. Like, I think you're on the right track. Like, I think they'll make a move this offseason.
All right, move over to Montrezl Harrell. Dame, what do we got?
I know that a lot of people are thinking the Hornets because they offered him so much money last offseason, but I'm actually gonna go with the Phoenix Suns. I don't think Montrezl Harrell really boosted his value this season. He honestly played like shit. So I think he's gonna sign another mid-exception kind of deal like he did this year with the Lakers, like 2 for 10 or something like that with a player option. So the Suns, clearly you have DeAndre Ayton, but then after DeAndre Ayton, like, what real big do you have? Dario Saric is kind of a stretch 4. He's not really that, like, center that you need to bang down low and get rebounds. Clearly, whenever DeAndre Ayton goes to the bench, as you've been watching, like, they've struggled on the glass and offensively in the paint. So I think adding a guy like Montrezl Harrell, maybe his role wasn't what he expected on the Lakers, but with the Suns, you're gonna have that role as that real 6-man coming off the bench. He's gonna control the paint. He's gonna get your rebounds. He's gonna give you a lot of energy, and that's something I think the Suns are gonna need this offseason because clearly they're kind of strapped with their draft picks and stuff. So I don't think they're gonna really trade for anyone. But adding quality big like Montrezl Harrell to help them, I think would be a really good fit for them.
Okay, Jurg.
So I'm gonna go with the Hornets because I think Harrell, after this past season, there's some frustrations with the Lakers. He's definitely gone from there. But my thing is that I think he wants a chance to finally start, and Charlotte gives him that chance. He could be that small ball 5 in the lineup for them. The thing with putting him at the 4 sometimes, of course, in your scenario, Dame, him coming off the bench is different. But if you put him at the 4, he's at such a disadvantage to some of the 4s. At the 5, he's a little bit quicker than some guys. He could do different things offensively. Like, putting him at the 5 could help out with him and Charlotte. LaMelo being there obviously helps overall. And it's going to be the same thing. He'll sign like a 1-year mid-level exception probably. And then he's going to end up signing a bigger deal after that. And like you said, like they went after him last offseason. I know it feels really weird to say this, but like the thing is Michael Jordan is going to talk to him again. Like I'm not saying he's going to get him, but he's going to talk to him again. It just feels like it just feels like destiny at this point. Like he tried to go for the chip, didn't work out. It's like, all right, let me get my time in Charlotte, let me get my touches, and then a year from now we really try to cash out. So I have him going to Charlotte.
All right. Dame, that was a very interesting choice. I've said that about every selection you guys have made so far, but I got to go with Jurg on this one because I could see this happening because Cody Zeller's coming off the books, and I don't think they're bringing back Monk and Devontae Graham. So I think they'll have money to spend. I do think Harrell will be leaving, and I think Charlotte's going to offer him the big bucks because we know Jordan loves his stupid contracts. But I do like to pick Dame. I just... I can't see it happening because I know they want to pay Aiden soon as well. So I'm going to have to go with Jurg on this one. 3-3 tie game right now. All right, fellas. I like it. Like competitive so far. Next name we got, Jurg. Starting off with you, Blake Griffin.
I have him staying in Brooklyn. He did play well in Brooklyn. I was one of the few people that liked the pickup when it first happened. I said he was going to try to mold his career into like Grant Hill, where he becomes just a role player for the last like 4 or 5 years. And I think he can do that. I think the thing is that at this point, even with how good he looked, he can't go back to potentially being like one of the main guys you rely on, even off the bench. Like he could be your 6th or 7th man, but you need bona fide star power next to him. I think he knows that. I think he's going to stay in Brooklyn because he got used to playing with those guys to an extent, and I think next season, like the lineups Nash could play around with, Blake will be out there with at least one of those 3 stars every single time, and that'll make it easier for him. It'll let him be a distributor because he's an underrated distributor. I just think it makes sense. Stay in Brooklyn, try to win a championship. That's why you wanted to get out of Detroit.
So mine's very similar. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays in Brooklyn, but I actually have the Los Angeles Lakers. The reason being is because, well, not number one, he's a scumbag. I know he doesn't like places like Brooklyn and Detroit, and he's just gonna do everything he can to go back to LA at some point in his career, whether it's this year or another year. So clearly the LA factors there, and things with the Lakers, they're so strapped with the cap with their draft picks that they have very little room to improve. So I don't think Blake Griffin's signing anything more than a veteran's minimum anyway, no matter where he goes. So I think the Lakers are going to be very desperate to add any kind of talent that they possibly can, and adding a guy like Blake Griffin, you just take a shot with him, and you hope that he's half of the player that he was pre-injury and stuff like that. He's improved his 3-point shot, so that's going to help them. He could play that small ball center for them as well, coming off the bench.
Well, that's interesting. Huh. Yeah, this is tough because I feel like Blake Griffin did outplay what was thought of him. But I feel like anyone who offers him more money is going to be like those non big market, small market teams.
Yeah.
Or smaller market teams.
Yeah, but clearly he was miserable in Detroit.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't think he's going to go there. But you guys bring up good points. Blake Griffin, LA. Does that make sense? I mean, it does make sense, but it's going to happen. I could see him staying in Brooklyn because he's butt buddies with all those dudes. I'm gonna have to go with Jurg on this name, just because I feel like the pitch will be like, "Yo, bro, let's run it back. We weren't healthy," but I'll give you more brownie points, more cosmic brownie points. But I'm gonna have to go with Jurg on this one. So Jurg takes the lead. All right, that's what I like to hear. I don't know if that's 4 in a row, Jurg, but you do take the lead. All right, and now we move over to Kelly Oubre. Dame, what do we think?
Simple answer: stay the fuck far away from the Knicks. I've seen rumors that the Knicks are interested, and then I saw another rumor that he's looking 20 to 30 million, just straight up, just far away from the Knicks. I don't care where it is. I have no prediction, no good fit, just any fit away from the Knicks.
Okay, all right, but by the way, no, I mean, I should just give him the point just for that answer, but also, from what I've read, his agent is trying to plant that to increase, what do you call it? To increase interest, essentially. Jurg, you know this, right? Like the
Yeah.
agents plant stories
Oh yeah.
to do that.
Oh
So
yeah.
I don't think the interest is as serious as everyone says, but I do see what you're coming from, Dame, because I'm
I
in the
don't want
same
him
boat.
anywhere near Knicks, no matter what.
Nowhere near. No. And plus he's too good looking to like stay focused in New York.
Alright.
Jurg, what do we think?
So there's a number of teams that I think, while a lot of people hate Kelly Oubre, I think he's a little bit more useful than some people give him credit for, but I don't see a contender going after him, obviously. This is going to be interesting. It's just because this team needs defense. Like, that's the main reason I'm giving it, because they need a defensive player in the lineups in some way, shape, or form. I have the Chicago Bulls going after Kelly Oubre. Because for one thing, that organization is kind of desperate to try to make as many moves as they can to convince Levine. The Vucevic deal was one of those desperate moves, and I think I wouldn't be shocked if they pay/overpay for a player like a Oubre. But like I said, he's a defensive player. He's kind of like you want Patrick Williams to be better than what Kelly Oubre is, and maybe if you bring him in, Patrick Williams would be like, so let me take the good of what this dude does and let me ignore everything else, and then I'll become a good pro one day. Like, maybe that's like a good thing, like that's just something you enter into the environment. Like, I kind of struggle a little bit with Oubre because I personally think there's some value to him, but I know a lot of people and fans don't. But in all seriousness, Chicago, slot him in. He could play the small ball four, which you need as much defense as you can out there with Levine and Vucevic. He could not be a direct veteran to Williams, but again, Williams could kind of try to mold himself, learn some of the finite things. It's just things like that I think could make Oubre a fit for Chicago. And like you guys said, like, is all that was to attract suitors. And I think Chicago's the kind of team, like, they need to make a move in the offseason. It's not going to be a big move, but like, they need to make this kind of move for a player, fit into the rotation, try to make the playoffs. Because like that team, if they don't at least make the play in next season, like, Levine is done. Like, he's gone.
Yeah, that's interesting. No, I'm not gonna say it again. No, that's a good point. Because the Bulls do need a wing. I just feel like they're saving their. I just feel like the Bulls are saving their money for Lonzo. And I don't know if they could afford Oubre. But because Damian kind of forfeited this round, I got to go with Jurg. I should give Dame half a point though for his answer.
Give him half a point. Give him half a point.
All right. Half a point for Dame, a full point for Jurg. Now that could either bite you in the ass soon, but we'll see. All right, next name up, we got Mike Conley. Jurg, what do we got?
So this kind of this directly correlates to what I was talking about earlier with the Ben Simmons stuff. But I actually do have Philadelphia being a fit for Mike Conley. I know Kyle Lowry is the number one point guard that we're all pointing to Philly because he's from there, fits, da. But let's be real here. Mike Conley is a very good player. Like, he helped Utah this season get to the first seed. He was eventually named an All-Star this season, deservingly so. And ultimately, had he been healthier, I'm not saying that they would have won against the Clippers, but he would have made more of a difference had he been healthy the whole series or gotten his legs under him. Like we saw with Chris Paul, he needed a few games to get back after COVID. It's the same thing with Conley and the injury he had. So I think Conley can make the difference. He's a ball handler, will easily help lead the offense. He will improve some of the few deficiencies that they needed help with, which is some more help with guard play, especially defensively, because he's still a solid defender, could get you 2-3 steals here and there. I think Mike Conley's a good fit. He's not the popular choice to go to Philly, but that doesn't mean he's not a good fit.
I have the Boston Celtics staying out east. They literally just traded Kemba Walker. They have a big hole at point guard, and they need someone to get Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum involved. Mike Conley's the perfect guy for that. He's not someone who needs 15 shots a game. He's going to get Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown the ball. It's clearly going to have to be some kind of sign and trade because I don't know if Boston has any cap space, but I think inserting a veteran point guard like Mike Conley instead of going with a rookie or another young guy, I think it'd be a perfect fit for Boston.
Those are both logical teams. Philly's interesting. Philly wasn't actually a surprising pick, but I could see it just in case they strike out on Lowry. Boston, I like that. He fits what Brad Stevens is looking for. You know what? I'm going to give both of you the point just because both those are smart choices, and I could see them both happening. So good for you guys. You guys both get the point. Now we move on over to Dwight Howard. Dame, what do we think?
I have him staying in Philadelphia. I think he's sick and tired of just keep moving around from team to team. I think he seemed like he really enjoyed his role with the 76ers playing behind Joel Embiid. Clearly, I think he's another guy who I don't think is going to get more than a minimum. So I think he's going to end up staying because, like I said, he wants to clearly win again. And he doesn't want to keep moving around, so I think he stays.
I have the Lakers getting him back because all it was one idiot in the organization not doing their job and getting back to him when he wanted to return to LA. He should have been there this season, and he would have been a massive boon to help them out against Ayton and the Suns in that series. Like, he has a relationship with LeBron, he has the relationship with AD. They won a championship together. I think if he just gets to speak to those guys, like, let them know if LeBron pushes it, all he has to do, literally tell the organization, like, I want him back. You're going to get him back. They will have to acquiesce. And I think LeBron understood how valuable he was in the 2020 run, and he would have helped against DeAndre Ayton. Not saying they would have won, but he would have. He's better than Andre Drummond. That's not a high bar, but he's better than Andre Drummond. So I have him going back to the Lakers because like Dame said, they need a bunch of veteran minimum players, and Dwight's going to be a veteran minimum player. He knows the system, knows the guys, knows the coach, everything. Back to LA, going to the Lakers.
Yeah, I literally had the Lakers, not gonna lie, and then last second I kind of switched it. But yeah, Lakers are a good fit because they know they fucked up by not resigning.
I'm gonna give both of you the point just because I could see them both happening. It's cop out. It's a cop out, but it's just both logical. I see it. Now we move on over to the next name. Jurg, I'm gonna start off with you.
Hello.
John Collins.
So I have a very interesting selection that I have John Collins going to because I'm expecting this team to trade their current big man right now, and they need to get more athletic with their players surrounding their superstar. And it's funny because John Collins has played with Trae Young for the first 4 years, so why not head on over down even more south to Texas and play with Luka Doncic? He is a athletic power forward, which Dallas needs to simply get more athletic. He's improved as a player throughout his career. I think this year was a solid year for him, and he improved on his three-point shot, which they have some three-point shooters anyway, so that's not going to be his primary role. He's going to be the athlete out there, just run and jump, grab some rebounds, make the highlight reel play here and there. Like, the thing with Dallas is that Porzingis is slow. Like, Luka is the fundamentally sound player. You need that explosive guy that Luka could throw the outlet pass to, and he's just going to finish it, right? And Collins can be that guy for them. Now, he is a restricted free agent, but here's the thing with Atlanta. The Trae Young extension is coming up. Capella still has another year. You paid Gallinari, Bogdanovich. You're going to have to pay Hunter or Cam Reddish within the next 2 seasons, and they're not big contracts, but they're still going to both demand, like, relatively, like, for their skill sets, what they'll be in like another year, reasonable deals. Like, John Collins, a lot of people have said he's the odd man out in Atlanta. And I could see Dallas being that fit because he needs to be next to a superstar, and Dallas has that.
I have the Chicago Bulls. Reason being is because I don't think Lauri Markkanen is going to be there, but I think they're obviously desperate to try to improve the teams around Zach LaVine before he decides to be out. So I think they're going to have that hole at the 4, and I think adding an athletic guy next to Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine is going to be a great fit for them. And they're obviously going to have the cap space to do it once Markkanen leaves. So, yeah, I think John Collins is a good fit in Chicago.
Yeah, Dame, but they have Patrick Williams, though.
Yeah, John Collins, Patrick Williams.
No, I know that, but I think they love Patrick Williams just because he brings a little bit of defensive edge to them. The Dallas one is... I didn't think about that because... I mean, I'm assuming it follows up on if they get Porzingis out of there, right, Jurg?
Yes. Like, the thing is, you move Porzingis, and in moving Porzingis, you gain the space to be able to offer Collins something that Atlanta won't be able to match. Which, like, a lot, like, it's the same thing with Chicago. Honestly, like, you would have to offer a contract that Atlanta will match, so you can't really necessarily base it off that. But just like, the thing with LaVine is LaVine could leave in a year. We know Luka's going to sign at least for the $200 million and stay there for the next few seasons because you cannot trade. I think in these Supermaxes, I don't think you're allowed to trade these guys the first year into the Supermax. I think there's some sort of clause in there or something. I could be wrong, but I heard something about that. So Luka's still going to be there for the next 2-3 seasons at least, which 2-3 seasons of Luka and Collins together, they could do something. They could advance to the second round at least.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go with Jurg on this just because I see that's more likely happening. Just because I don't see the Bulls slotting in another power forward. I think they just love Patrick Williams too much. Yeah, so Jurg gets the point on this. Next name. Who did I start with the last time? Was
Me.
it okay. Yeah, so Dame, I'm going to start off with you. Next name, Kemba Walker.
This goes based off what I have for Porzingis. So I have Kemba Walker to the Mavs, and clearly this is kind of like a matching contracts, but like I think Kemba Walker is actually just going to be a good fit for the Mavs in general. It's going to give the Mavs another ball handler, point guard that can take pressure off Luka, make him play off ball a little bit, make him take a couple plays off, while Kemba Walker not only creates for himself but creates for others as well. So clearly it's a contract match with Porzingis, but I think overall he's a good fit as a playmaker there.
I have maybe a little bit. So I have two different options based off of if he gets bought out or traded, but I think he's likely going to get traded more so. So this is just off the assumption, because a lot of this is assuming Portland just completely tears everything down this offseason. You need to meet cap space. Like you have to have a minimum amount of cap space in the leagues. You can't just be only paying like $15 million in a salary cap of $90 million. No, you need to meet a certain minimum threshold. And if Portland can move Dame, if they can move CJ, if they can move Nurkic, get all the assets back, you just need someone there to put up salary cap space, and that is when you get Kemba Walker. Because here's the thing, and this is a common tactic in the NHL, a bad team will take on a bad contract from another team, but they'll get a pick back. With Oklahoma City, like, you may need to just trade one first round pick, because if Portland gets 6 first round picks from Dame, if they get one for CJ, and if they get a random player back for Nurkic, you're OKC. You're like, hey, we don't need to trade a lot to make this deal work. We could just trade Kemba, and we have so many different young players. We could even throw in just one of our random prospects in here, and Portland will take that because it meets the salary cap requirement. There is no point guard of the future there. Anthony Simons is solid, but he's not a bona fide point guard of the future succession plan with Dame. So you could put Kemba there. He'll play out at least one season there, and if he plays really good, maybe you could trade him in the last year of his deal where it's only 1 year left. And with all those extra draft picks you'll get, you could use one to trade him, because again, 1 year left, it makes the contract more palatable. So if you're Portland, you could either keep Kemba and deal with the contract because you're rebuilding, or you could trade him in a year because it'll be easier to deal him, and maybe he'll rebuild his value by showing he could just be a pure bucket getter again. So I got Kemba to Portland.
I like the Hail Mary shot there, Jurg, but I'm gonna have to go with Dame on this one just because I see Kemba to Dallas happening for Porzingis, but gotta give you credit for that one. I would have never thought Portland, so you caught my attention, but I have to go with Dame on this one.
I used my hockey logic there because it's a pretty
It makes
common
sense.
thing
It makes complete sense. So you got the logic part of it down. The likeliness part of it, I can't see. All right, so we start off with Jurg on this one. Evan Fournier.
I have the New York Knicks going after Evan Fournier. He is.
All right.
I've already lost the point. I don't think it matters. So, I mean, he's a shooter. The Knicks need more shooting. Like, Fournier, he's not going to be... I don't think he should be that expensive, honestly. Like, his points per game went down when he went to Boston, but the thing is, his three-point shooting percentage actually went up. Like, here's the thing with the Knicks. You need to make a significant addition this offseason on this team if they're going to take a next step. You cannot come back next season with this exact team, exact same players, exact everything, and expect them to make a better run in the playoffs. You just can't. Because there's going to be more tape out on guys. Teams are going to know how to defend Randall better. Yes, RJ will be better, but like, RJ's leap alone is not going to guarantee you get to the second round after losing in 5 games. So Evan Fournier just adds more shooting to this team, which they need. Again, it doesn't matter how much better your players are getting. Reputation shooting, right? That's what Philly did when they went to get Danny Green and Seth Curry. It's reputation shooting. If you want to prove that you're improving as an organization, you need to make some of these moves. And Evan Fournier, I think, is a reasonable contract compared to most players. I really do.
Dame?
So Evan Fournier's a free agent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my pick is the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't think it's going to be a veteran minimum, but obviously every team gets that middle level exception, which is a little more than veterans minimum. I think he's going to go there for a year or two, maybe boost his value playing LeBron, playing on a winning team, and they will probably leave after that to get a better contract. But I think LeBron's obviously going to be recruiting shooters hard, and there's not many out there, especially not ones that are free agents. So I think him going to the Lakers is a really good fit, clearly because they need the shooting, and he could boost his value playing on a winning team.
I hate doing this, but I'm gonna have to give it to Jurg just because I don't see Fournier. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna take less money than what he's projected to make. He's probably gonna make like 15 million plus. I think. I thought one of you was gonna say he's gonna stay with the Celtics, which I personally think is gonna happen. But I think he's more likely to go to the Knicks. I know there's been smoke around there, but hope it doesn't happen. But it is logical and it is likely that it's not likely, but it's more likely than him going to the Lakers. So Jurg gets the point. All right, Dame, step your shit up, bro. All right.
Enough.
Okay. Now we got Marcus Smart. Dame, what do we got? No, wait, Jurg's turn.
Oh, yeah, my turn. So Marcus Smart, this, because I want free agency to be exciting, so I'm kind of going to be unique here. I don't have him staying in Boston. I have him going to the Toronto Raptors because Fred VanVleet, while he's great offensively, he lacks defensively. We could say that. And I like the idea of they bring in Marcus Smart there. He's that defensive guard. He could still shoot some threes, so you're not losing anything. And he just helps out on the defensive effort. Him and OG Anunoby at just hounding the perimeter defenders that Toronto would go up against would be highly entertaining for a matter. And he also feels like a hustle player. He goes at it. Like Nick Nurse, I think, will get along just fine with Marcus Smart. So I have that being the selection there.
I have him staying with Boston. They're not going to rebuild, so I don't think they're going to get rid of him or anything like that. They're going to do what they can to keep him. He fits exactly what they need to do. They're trying to do. He's tough. He plays great defense. He give you shooting at times. He's very consistent with that. But overall, with the toughness and defense, I think he's a perfect fit to just stay in Boston and continue what they're trying to do there.
I'm going to have to go with Dame here, Jurg. Just because, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Who could the Raptors offer for Marcus Smart?
Isn't he a free agent? I thought you said he was a free agent.
No, but I don't think he's a free agent. I think
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
You see Chris, bro, what kind of...
I didn't say anyone's status here, but he's been in the trade rumors. So all right, Jurg, you got a chance to redeem yourself.
I thought no, don't give me a point or anything, but I thought he was a free agent. Like, how long was his contract extension that he signed? Like, did he sign for 7 years?
4 years. Let me check it right now. It's Spotrac. I don't think so, man.
No, I know he's not a free agent.
I could have sworn he was a free agent.
No. He re-signed in 2018, which means he has one more year left.
That recent? Sheesh. And actually, just keep my pick. Just let it be. I don't care.
Okay. All right. Give the point to Dame. Controversy with that pick. But...
Enough.
All right. Here we go. Move on over to Derrick Rose. Dame, what do we got?
I have him staying with the New York Knicks. Clay, he loved the role he had there. He wanted to be traded there when it was rumored that he wanted to get out. He wants to win. He wants to be in the playoffs. That's exactly what the Knicks did. He loves Tom Thibodeau, and Tom Thibodeau loves him. I think he's definitely going to be back in the Knicks. So all the cap space they have, they're probably going to pay him more than his probably value is. But I just don't see him going to, I know Lakers have been rooting for him, but they don't have the money for him. I think he's going to make double-digit per year. So, I see him on the Knicks because of the money factor and the fact that he just loves playing there.
I also have him just simply staying on the Knicks. It doesn't make sense for either side to only have had this 50-game reunion or so. It just doesn't. So I have him staying with the Knicks at the end of the day. It just makes too much sense. I don't think the Knicks should let him go. They just shouldn't.
All right, I'm giving both of y'all the point just because that you got the same answers, but I think it's a heavily likely option that he stays. I don't necessarily know if I want that yet. I'm very torn between whether I want Derrick Rose to stay or if I just want a new batch of guards. But yeah, give you guys both the point. Now we move on over to Nerlens Noel. Jurg, what do you got?
I have him going to Miami because I think Miami is going to try to swing a deal in the offseason, and I think Precious will be part of it. And he has a little bit of potential, and while I like him, I wouldn't be surprised, nor would I it would not hurt my heart at all if I had to give up Precious Achiuwa in a deal to get one of these solid player back alongside Tyler Hero. Just wouldn't. So I have Noel going to Miami on just a 1-year deal. The thing is, Miami's going to go after big men and at least a big man in the offseason because they need more depth behind Bam. He was getting tired sometimes in the regular season and going back to the playoffs in 2020. They need to support him with more depth. And Nerlens Noel is very similar, energy, athletic, just get rebounds, and everyone gets more fit and plays better in Miami. And that kind of high energy player, Miami's had success with that before. So Noel to Miami.
I have him going to the Brooklyn Nets. I know it hurts me to say because I think he's such a good fit there, but they need that rim protecting center. DeAndre Jordan was in it, LaMarcus Aldridge was in it, Blake Griffin was in it. He's going to sign a veteran minimum deal. He's really going to help them out. Clearly they are a championship contender. He wants to win, so I think he's a perfect fit there.
I'm very bearish on both of your choices, to be honest.
Go fuck yourself.
Because I don't see that happening.
What does bearish mean?
And I'm not feeling it. To put it in the simplest of terms. I'm gonna go. I'll give both of y'all half a point for it. How about that?
That's fair.
I think in Nets bias came out. But...
No. I just don't see it happening because I think he took a pay cut from the Knicks to boost his value in the following season, and I think he did that. So I don't think he's gonna take garbage scraps from the Nets. So yeah,
All right.
I know. Just throwing out logic out there. Now we move over to this will be interesting. Who's up this one? Is
Me. I think
Dame.
Dame? All right,
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry.
this goes along with the next guy who we have on the list, but I have him staying in Toronto. Um, I don't think they're going to go in a full rebuild yet, and I don't see what team is really going out there to trade for him. Uh, if it wasn't for Philly getting Damian Lillard, in my opinion, I would probably have him to Philly, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see a Lakers swinging a trade for him. I don't see really anybody else doing it, so I have him staying in Toronto.
This is a difficult. So I'm just basing this one off of fit, and like these choices aren't continuous because we're gonna repeat teams here. But we kind of mentioned before, just Philadelphia makes sense. I know like Kyle Lowry in Toronto, like people just feel so good about it. But I think even the organization, like I think there's a reason they let the contract expire, and it's not just because he'll cost less. I just think his time in Toronto's done. Like, look, he's done everything there. He's made all-star teams. He's won a championship. He's literally done everything you can do in Toronto. But that's also not the only team he's ever been on in his whole career. And I think Kyle Lowry, I wouldn't be surprised if at least one or two more seasons in his career he wants to try to win a championship. And I could see Philadelphia being the option for him there. He'd be that veteran point guard like I talked about with Conley, brings defense, that championship experience. That it just makes too much sense. So I have him going to Philadelphia. I'm sure he wants to play for his hometown as well. Like a lot of guys, like they feel that those kind of feelings.
All right. I thought you were gonna say Miami Jerk. I thought you were gonna pull a fast one.
That's
there.
what I
No,
thought.
no,
I thought
no,
that's
I'm
what I
not-
thought he was going to say too.
I'm realistic with my teams in free agency. If none of you can tell with basketball and hockey,
Okay.
like I
I mean,
don't have high
he's-
hopes.
There's smoke there, so who knows? It might.
I don't
happen,
believe
but-
it. I just don't.
All right. I'm just trying to help you out, but I'm gonna have to go with Jerk just because I can't see him staying in Toronto. I just think, especially with the fourth pick, they're primed to get I think a point guard. Suggs, but yeah, Jerk gets the point.
Or just a guard in general. Like even if they get Jalen Green, like Van Vliet's gonna be the point guard.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
All right, and now we get interesting here because we get to the batch that I don't
I
necessarily
have
know.
an interesting team for this name.
Okay,
all
right.
all these names at the bottom were so hard.
Yeah, I know. This is why I put them there. 'Cause this is
Yeah.
where the good content comes out. So, Jurg, are you up or is
Yep.
Dame up?
It's me.
Okay, Jurg, DeMar DeRozan.
I have him because he fits this team. His personality fits this team. I have him becoming an Indiana Pacer because
Wow.
so listen up. Here's the thing. DeRozan played the 3 in San Antonio during his time there. And with him, Brogdon, Karis LeVert, that's a 1 through 3 that can all attack the rim. But Brogdon and LeVert can shoot the 3, particularly LeVert. And for a lot of people whose issue is the fact that DeRozan doesn't shoot, he's going to be going to a team where there's already a shooter in the starting lineup. And I think, again, I like playing with lineups. And there can be times where you could have him start. You sit DeRozan first because he's a little bit older. And then when Brogdon and LeVert need to sit, you put DeRozan back out there, have him lead the bench unit. Like he's still going to play 30-plus minutes. But I think it's a fit. Like he's a star name. Like people still recognize him, but he's not a star anymore. And that kind of fits the MO of the Indiana Pacers. Like they're never going to hit on a big time free agent. This is as close as you'll get to that.
I literally just changed my answer. I'm gonna go with the New Orleans Pelicans. I know I had CJ McCollum there before, but I'm just hypothetically, if they don't go for CJ McCollum, I think DeMar DeRozan is a good fit there as well. They clearly are gonna have that hole at the 2 guard or guard in general, guard position in general after Alonzo and Josh Hart leave. So adding a scorer like that there, I think is gonna be a really good fit. Adding that talent next to Zion, trying to keep him happy, trying to stay competitive, make the playoffs. Keep Zion there for the long term. I think DeMar DeRozan would be a good fit there to help that happen.
Bearish on both. I'm gonna give you all half a point. Sorry.
I like it. Why not?
Yeah, there's this cutthroat competition here, Dame. You just need to get free points like that just for spewing out teams. Look, it is difficult, but I need more. I need more. So, Dame, for this, I'm very interested in what you guys have for this name. Malik Monk.
The New York Knicks. I wanted them to draft him in the first place over Frank in that draft, but clearly they fucked that up, per usual, as they do in the draft. But Malik Monk is that guard off the bench that you can have to give him the spark. I know they had that with D Rose, but this just gives you another element to that. Malik Monk can shoot the 3 ball. He can explode at any point. He's super athletic. That's exactly what the Knicks need. I don't think he's gonna get crazy money, but I don't think he's gonna be for the minimum. So nice little 2 for 20, 2 for 25 kind of contract, or like 3 for 30, something like that. I think be a perfect fit for the Knicks and what they're trying to do.
I have Malik Monk as a member of the Memphis Grizzlies. If they don't go for a CJ McCollum, this is like the next level kind of guy that they could go after. Athletic, can shoot, can make a play happen. Doesn't necessarily need to be fed the ball. Like I was saying with CJ, like in a trade, he would be the kind of player that Memphis would go after. Now in free agency, like if you don't think they'll make a trade for a player like that, then they'll make a signing for a player like that, because they've been known to dip into free agency here and there to get guys that make sense. Kyle Anderson was an example of that. Jonas, even though he was a trade, Jonas Valanciunas, because they extended him. Like they will get the guys that fit, and he's athletic like Ja. He could shoot the ball. He's, again, shot creator. Like they need another shot creator alongside John Morant, and perhaps like Malik Monk going there, that could be like him getting the ball more. Like he becomes, you could say, the second option on that team, because no one else on that team could get a shot of their own like him. So aside from Ja, so I have him going to Memphis, and he could expand his role there significantly, which I think, like, if you're an agent, we were talking about agents before, like agents want that. You want to get some money and you want to expand your guy's role for future contracts. So Memphis would make sense.
The thing is, I think he'll get more playing time with the Grizzlies than he did in Charlotte, but I think he wants to flirt with a starting role. And I could see that happening with the Knicks. And I do think there's a small chance that he could end up in New York, to be honest. And I do like that fit. Bias aside, but I'm gonna have to go with Dame on this one, Jurg. I'm sorry. I just see that happening a little bit more. I don't know. Grizzlies are a big wild card in this offseason to me, but Dame gets the point. Now we move on over to another interesting name that I am very, interested in what you guys have to say about this. Devontae Graham. Jurg, what do we got?
So the Boston Celtics a couple years ago went after a short point guard who could score but doesn't really play defense well from the Charlotte Hornets. So why not double dip and do that again? You could say that Brad Stevens is better than Danny Ainge, but at the same time, I think Brad Stevens also knows that aside from Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, he needs some more scoring. If they still have, like, apparently, as I just learned today, if Marcus Smart is still under contract, then just put a guy with him that could score, and Devontae Graham can do that. Like, you can. I think in today's game, while we value playmakers, not every team values that. And I think Devontae Graham could be a guy to just be a spark plug offensively for the Boston Celtics, and they'll be able to find a role for him in there. Like, being next to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown will make his life easier. So Devontae Graham to Boston it'd be entertaining to say the least.
I have Devontae Graham. I'm not doing this for favoritism, but I do have him with the Knicks. Clearly, Alfred Payne, like many Knicks fans, he's going to be gone. They're all going to be very happy about that. So they're going to have a hole at point guard. Devontae Graham is a young point guard. He's up and coming. Clearly, he's such a great shooter, something the Knicks are going to be looking for and prioritizing this offseason. So adding Devontae Graham, I think, would be a great fit for them. Whether he starts or he comes off the bench, just having that point guard that can shoot the ball like he can is going to be very different for the Knicks and very beneficial for them as well.
I like both. I'm going to go with Jurg on this one, just because I think there's more of an open field for the Celtics in terms of what they could do with that point guard position. I could see it happening. I could see Graham with the Knicks happening, but I don't know. Dame, you picked Monk on the Knicks. You can't just be picking everyone for the Knicks here in terms of the point guard position. But I don't know. I do see that, though. But I'm going to have to go with Jurg. Now we move on over to Lauri Markkanen. Dame, what do we got?
I got the San Antonio Spurs. Like I said before, they're kind of in that middle ground. They don't know what they're doing. So adding a guy like Lauri Markkanen, who's young, they're obviously going to need to meet that salary cap minimum, so they're going to pay him what he deserves. And he fits kind of what Pop likes to do, that European player that can shoot the ball and stretch the floor. So I think Lauri Markkanen is a really good fit there with San Antonio.
I actually have him going as being a reclamation project in Cleveland, because I think the thing with the Cavs is that I have a strong feeling that they're either going to go center or guard in the draft. If they don't re-sign Jarrett Allen, they'll probably go center. If not, they'll go after another guard. That means Colin Sexton would be out. There's no one at the power forward spot. Isaac Okoro is a 3 to me. And Markkanen, whoever the center happens to be, whether it be a Mobley or Allen or whoever, Markkanen can space the floor way more. He could be a shooter from the corner, from the wing. You could do some stuff in the high post with him. Him and Garland, Garland passing it to him would be good, because Garland is more of the playmaker there. I think Garland can get him the ball. I think there's more opportunity for him to be a floor spacer there, and he'll get to learn under Kevin Love. And essentially, like, you get to mimic that, like, who you like your play style is for a year. Play pretty well. Like, not everyone is going to get a big time contract, right? Like not everyone's going to get 20 mil a year, 17 mil a year. But if he has a one good season, rebuild himself, could he get like 12, 13 mil a year after a year like that? Oh yeah, of course he can.
I'm gonna have to go with Dame on this one, just because I see Mark in the Spurs. Seems like a match made in heaven, and they're desperate for a four. And I think that fit is too perfect in my opinion. So I got to give Dame the point on this one. Jurg, starting off with you, Lonzo Ball.
I don't think I've said this team yet when it comes to a point guard. Oh no, I haven't. The Knicks. Like it's just Lonzo makes sense. He's been in a big market before, so I think he'll be able to handle that. But he's not going to come in with the pressure of being the guy that was drafted by them. He's going to come in with the guy to facilitate, help things out. He's a good defensive guard. Like I think a lot of people underestimate the defense that him and LaMelo can play sometimes. Like yeah, for various reasons or biases. He's good. He's lengthy. He's smart. Like he will like the way we talk about him finding Bi and RJ. He will find Randall for like wide open mid range jumpers, and he'll find RJ cutting to the rim like it's gonna be beautiful. So like, and if we love Zion, Lonzo to Zion alley oops, like I'm sure we'll get some Lonzo to RJ alley oops. Like I truthfully believe like there's only 2 or 3 teams that I think is a really good fit for Lonzo Ball, and I think the Knicks are one of them.
It's in a call by answer, bro. I have the Knicks as well, and I just can't change my pick because I do want this to happen. Just the Knicks are too perfect of a fit. They obviously have a big hole at the point guard position. They have the money to do it, and clearly Lonzo's the kind of guy who likes the bright lights, so it's a perfect fit for both parties, in my opinion.
Giving both y'all the point, just because I see it happening too. I see it happening too. But let's tell the viewers this is a complete 180 from the beginning of the season where Damian didn't want Lonzo Ball.
I didn't want to trade for him and give assets for him. It was never.
We weren't gonna do that. It wasn't gonna happen.
Enough.
Whatever. All right, Dame. Starting off with you, Josh Hart.
This is kind of a weird one, but I have him to the Houston Rockets. I know I've read a thing that he wasn't happy with his role with the Pelicans, but I don't really understand what he wants his role to be. So I think he's going to go to a really bad team to, I guess, improve his role. With their draft pick, they're probably going to draft a point guard. I don't know who it's going to be, but Josh Hart is going to be that 2 guard for them. He's probably going to get more money than he's supposed to be because it's Houston and they're just looking to bring in talent to try to meet that minimum. But yeah, Josh Hart to Houston.
I have him going to Miami. I think with Josh Hart, he was a big Dwayne Wade fan growing up, so obviously he knows what Miami could do for him with convos that he's probably had with D Wade. I think the flexibility of Spoelstra could put Josh Hart starting at times with, I'm not saying this is what I want to see, but Tyler Hero on the point and Jimmy Butler at the 3, or Hart could just be at the 2, Butler at the 3. Like there's just different lineups he could put in. Again, guys go to Miami, they work for a year, they get in the best shape they've ever been in, and then they could cash out if they have a really good season. Like shooters also just do better when they go down to Miami. Like Josh Hart, I think the thing with his role with New Orleans, I just think that was pure frustration. There's too many mouths to feed. I think with Miami, it's a pecking order, but Jimmy is a very passive star. Like he will defer to his teammates. He will kick out the ball. He will find his guys. Same with Bam. Bam is good for 5 assists a night. So I think that kind of environment would be the kind of deal. Again, like a small 1 or 2 year deal, and then you cash out. Like, again, not every single guy is going to be able to cash out in one free agency. Like some guys do get, kind of shafted. And I'm not saying Josh Hart deserves to be that. I actually like him as a solid role player. And if you're gonna eventually want to cash out, Miami is the place that like guys have literally gone to before to do that. So I go with the Heat.
Both are extremely good fits. Both of you make great points. I'm giving both y'all the point. I didn't think of either of those teams, but now listening to you guys talk about them, yeah, I could definitely see. At first I was like, oh man, the Rockets, that's a good fit. But then you swayed me too, so I'm gonna give both y'all the point. So good for y'all. Now we move on over to Marvin Bagley.
Again, this is one I wanted to have a little bit of fun with. Man, now that I say it, I don't know.
Just say it, brother.
All right, for fun purposes, I would actually have Marvin Bagley if he had to move teams, send him to Golden State. While I think Golden State is going to make that move, which involves Wiseman and the picks, I also think that they could try to double dip and get a young player in a separate deal back that it won't cost them a lot. And even if it costs them a future pick where you could work with this guy, again, Steph will make him better. And you get him playing at the 4. He's that athletic power forward that'll run the floor. And they need athleticism because Draymond Green is Draymond Green. And assuming they end up dumping Wiggins in this deal, like you can get an athletic kid like this back, have him work with the team. Like I understand that they want to get a veteran, and they can do that, but that's not to say you also can't get some youth back on the team. Because here's the thing: like, you need some young players on the roster. Steph is getting up there. You need some athletic guys around him, and with Klay Thompson with the ACL and the Achilles, Marvin Bagley at the 4, running up and down for those boys to throw some oops to, develop his game with, like that. To me, that feels like a dream. And if I was him, I would want to go there.
I'm gonna go with OKC. OKC clearly is one of the worst teams in the league, and they're looking to acquire any kind of young talent. And buying low on a guy like Marvin Bagley, who has a bunch of potential, is kind of the perfect thing they need. You don't know what you're gonna do with Shai going in the future if he's gonna be unhappy there. So why not add any kind of young talent on the buy low that you can that won't kind of like negate your future rebuilding process? I don't think Marvin Bagley's gonna ask for any kind of ridiculous contract. He has been good. But the potential is clearly there. He was drafted second overall for a reason. So adding him to OKC is, I think, a really good fit.
I gotta go with Dame on this one. That OKC fit, I see it a lot, and I also think him and Shy would be.
I honestly, I did think it too, but at the same time, like, I saw that. Granted, I think he's better than this player, but they already put Darius Baisley there, like, so I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
they do have Pokuševski, but I could see like that. But they're not gonna be. I think Bagley has a higher ceiling than both of them, to be honest. And plus, I think but I don't even know what the market is for him. I just know that the Thunder could afford him with the picks. I don't know if anyone's because I'm pretty sure the Kings would rather get like a decent player in return. But how likely is that, to be honest? So I don't know. I do see OKC
I think
though.
if you're
Like,
Sacramento, you can't be nitpicky. Like, if you get some
yeah,
picks
you
back,
can. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. The Golden State thing is it's unique.
for fun. Like, some of these guys I just went for fun for.
I appreciate that, Jerk. You come on. You're winning in my book, to be honest. But Dame gets the point on this one. Damian, Rashawn Holmes.
I got this to the Boston Celtics. Clearly, they've been looking for a center for years and years, and they've been saying they're going to fix that issue, but they still haven't. Adding a young guy like Rashawn Holmes is on the upcoming. He's really improved his game the past couple of years. He plays defense, he rebounds, he hustles. Everything you're going to need with the Boston Celtics. He doesn't really need the ball. He's not someone who's going to demand post-ups all the time to take away the ball from Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So having a young big like that runs the floor, gets rebounds, and plays defense, I think that's exactly what the Celtics need.
Lest you think that them acquiring every center in the league in free agency will stop, I have the Detroit Pistons going out for Rashawn Holmes. He had a very good season in Sacramento where he averaged like 14 and 8. Someone is going to pay him. Detroit needs to meet the minimum salary thing. Holmes will just be that pure defensive player. He's more of a defender than Mason Plumlee, who they have. Plumlee is way more offensively inclined. He is he's a traffic cone on defense, is what I would personally like to say. I don't think he's that great defensively. Holmes would be there. He'd be that rebounder, a block shot here or there. And he's just athletic. Grant will get to focus offensively, and whatever guard they end up picking first overall, them and Killian Hayes will just get to put in work. Like, Rashawn Holmes is the guy that he doesn't mess with any of the young players on that roster in terms of like their bona fide starters. He doesn't mess with any of them, and he just fits a role as a veteran to take up some salary.
I see the idea. I see the ideology here, Jerk. But I think with the emergence of Isaiah Stewart, I think they're rethinking things. I got to go with Dame on this one. I could see Holmes being a target for the Celtics. I could see it. Granted, he's gonna be asking for a lot of money, so I don't know if they're gonna be paying him. But I could see Celtics happening more than the Pistons. So I got to go with Dame on this one. All right, so Jurg, Colin Sexton.
This is one I really struggled with because Colin Sexton can score, but I don't want him to be the main scorer on a team. And he looks like he could defend. He's got good metrics. He has some decent defensive numbers. So I really, really, really struggled with where to put him here. I have a couple teams. Which one of these would be more interesting for fun? You know what? I'm gonna be unique with this selection. I'm going to say the Dallas Mavericks would go after Colin Sexton. If all else fails, if none of the other guys that I said would go to Dallas end up going to Dallas, like, he would just be a guard. Like, Luka would be able to handle all the playmaking, so Colin Sexton wouldn't have to worry about that because he's not a point guard in terms of that. But he's a defender, and he will just help hound guys with perimeter defense. Him and Dorian Finney-Smith will be able to support Luka on that end of things, while at the same time, again, like, here's the thing with Colin Sexton. He has put up numbers, but how much can Cleveland really get back for him? I don't think he's a guy that you need to send so much the other way back for. I just don't. And so him defensively alongside Luka would work, and Luka makes things easier for everyone offensively. So if he was able to put up 20 plus for Cleveland, not saying he'll put up 20 plus per game for Dallas, but still get you 17, 18 while still being good defensively, he'll look more valuable on Dallas than he ever did in Cleveland. And that's why I think it would be a fit there.
I'm gonna go with I know I went with the team for a couple two guards, but I think Lonzo Ball is gonna leave, so I have the New Orleans Pelicans. Like I mentioned before with these two guards, but regardless, they're in search of adding talent to that team to improve their playoff chances. I don't really think there's any big point guards that they can go after in free agency or trades that's gonna go to New Orleans. So I think trading for Colin Sexton would be perfect for them. You add a young guy who can score the ball. He can play defense. He can create for others. He can create for Zion. He can push the break with Zion. He's very athletic, very fast. Like Jurg said, I don't think it's going to take a lot for them to trade him because he just doesn't fit in Cleveland. So I think the Pelicans are a really good fit for him.
Bearish on both those selections.
No, this fucking guy.
Like I'm a crypto connoisseur.
So just give a half point so we can move on to the last player.
Yeah, I'll give halfsies. All right. Now we move on over to Jarrett Allen. Dame, what do we got?
I just haven't stayed with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ever since they got him, they've been really happy about keeping him there. I know I've read a thing that they're willing to give him a $100 million contract. I know there's a lot of complications with the draft, them getting Evan Mobley and then probably moving on from Jarrett Allen. But I just think at the end of the day, they like Jarrett Allen too much, and he's played really well for them. So I think he's going to stay there.
Yeah, with Dame just staying Cleveland. You got him as a part of that deal. He's done nothing to dissuade you from wanting to keep him. And again, yeah, like they technically have Kevin Love, so but like you got to pay someone. And Jarrett Allen, like he's very young. Like he's 23, going on 24 years old. Defensive center, is athletic, can run the floor. Like Darius Garland, if he's going to be the point guard and he's going to run the show, he's going to be the passer and the playmaker. Jarrett Allen makes a lot of sense to keep around there. So I just got him staying in Cleveland.
All right, I'm giving both y'all the point. Now, you guys thought that was the end of it. Well, I don't know. I had a name that I just threw in there before we started.
Really?
And you know what? I'm going to count it as a 2-pointer.
Okay.
Since this is off the cuff, it'll count as 2 instead of 1.
Okay.
All right? So, bear with me. This is for all the marbles.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the score. I don't know if you guys have been keeping track of the score, but Jurg, since it's your turn to go first, you're going to have to, do your best here. Tyler Hero.
Oh shit, that's funny. Okay. Oh no. So this is easy actually. I have a fit for him. Portland, because I think of all the guards Miami could try to get, if they try to get another score, I think CJ McCollum could be a guy that they call in. Like I'm being realistic here, and a package of Tyler Hero, Precious Achua, and like one of the players opting in and a future first. Like Miami, here's the thing, Miami was trying to get protections moved off of their other first to use in deals. They could do that. Again, Dame is going to be the one to get you the picks. The funny thing is, I've always been saying, like, CJ, I don't know what he could get you. If CJ could get you Tyler Hero to work with, Precious Achua to work with, who's a young big man, which because of Zach Collins' injury, he's so injury prone, like, you can't really rely on him. And Yusuf Nurkic, you assume if you trade Dame and CJ, you might as well just trade him. Like, you get Hero, Precious, whatever else you could get from Miami. Like, just those two alone are two young pieces you could go in the future with. So I would go with that. I'd go Portland for Tyler Hero.
I'm going to go with the Washington Wizards in a Bradley Beal deal.
You're being really nice to my team, assuming we could get Bradley Beal. I appreciate it.
No, I think it's going to be more than obviously Tyler Hero, but I think Tyler Hero is going to be one of the guys in the package. You need shooting once you would trade Bradley Beal. You need that 2-guard. Tyler Hero fit that role. You obviously are going to get more than just Tyler Hero. That's not what I'm saying. You're going to have to fit contracts. You're going to have to give more assets than that, but I'm going to go with the Washington Wizards.
The Wizards. I just feel like it would have happened by now, wouldn't it, Jurg?
I think the thing is that you see what has happened with Holiday and Harden. Miami just doesn't have that for a Bradley Beal. They just don't. And CJ is way more realistic because I always say this. If you have two pieces you want to trade, if you they have Lillard, they have the player that's going to get them all the picks and some players, but all the picks. You don't need the picks necessarily from CJ. You could actually get the players. And Tyler Hero, look, you can say whatever you want. He is better than Anthony Simons. He's going to be better than whatever other young 2-guard they got on the roster as well. So you could do that. Like, he's honestly, you have a succession plan if you trade for Hero, because you go from not having a backup guard that you could potentially be a pretty good starter to having one with him. So look, would I love Bradley Beal? Like, I appreciate Dame like believing in my team that much. I really do. But I'm just going with the more realistic option here, and that's a CJ McCollum.
All right. Well, I've made my decision. This is a 2-pointer.
Yep.
I got to give it to Jurg on this one. Because I could see Tyler Hero in Portland next season. Whether it's for Damian Lillard or whether it's for CJ McCollum, something's gonna happen with Tyler Hero, and I just think I could see it in Portland. I don't like if Bradley Beal ends up going to Miami and Tyler Hero goes to Washington, I'll come back to this and just I'll order a crown to Damian's crib via Amazon. But I got to give Jurg the 2 points there. So the final score is Damian with 18, Jurgen with 18.5.
Oh my god.
0.5, boys.
So Jurg wins by 0.5. There was no bias here. Damian started off hot, cooled off a little bit.
I had a run at the beginning. Didn't I get like 6 or 7 in a row or something?
You did. Damian could have won this if the Kelly Oubre thing really set him back. But I appreciated it, So yeah, that's that. That is our game. I have no name for it. It was fun. You guys made some solid points, really solid points. Did you guys have fun?
That was fun.
No.
That was fun.
Yeah. I'm glad my sons could bond here in this sports world. But this might be a 2-parter. This probably will be a 2-parter. But yeah, to anyone that listened to this episode or the previous episode, maybe, who knows what we'll do with it. Appreciate y'all.
For those of you that listen to 25 minutes and then a separate 1-hour one, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Jurg, where can they find us on the socials?
The @SomeWhatSports page on Instagram. We are growing in followers. We appreciate everyone that has followed so far. Again, share it with everyone. Your friends, your girlfriend, your girlfriend's family, your family. Just go on your parents' phone if they have Instagram, or your older siblings, and just take it, get on Instagram, follow us. It's all good in the hood. But in all seriousness, we keep putting up the daily polls. We've been getting some pretty good traction on them. A lot of people like predicting stuff. We're enjoying it. We love all the interaction. We thank all of you for who have interacted so far.
Definitely. Yeah, we're still waiting for Damian's WordPress piece, but God knows when that's gonna pull up. But anyway, yeah, appreciate everyone who's listening. I appreciate y'all too for giving your expertise, analysis, of course. And until next time, peace.
Peace.